Portstewart, looking westward over the Atlantic Ocean and the long reach of the Inishowen Peninsula in County Donegal, partly sedate 19th century watering place and partly 20th century residential. In 1835, it was noted that the town was a great resort for persons of a religious caste. Nowadays, it's still a great resort, whether because of its bracing air or its annual big religious convention. It inspired Jimmy Kennedy to write his now famous song, Red Sails in the Sunset, and Thackeray to exclaim on a visit here that it was a place of great comfort and neatness, and also about its snug little harbour. And I trust that this windy evening it is a snug little harbour, for it's here the people of the district are gathered to sing their songs of praise. The town of Portstewart's not much more than 100 years old. About 1800 there was only a tiny handful of fishermen's cottages just inland from here, and the modern day resort is largely due to the work of a man called Crummie, a descendant of a Scottish planter family of the name of Stewart who lived in the district. And indeed the whole of the North Irish coast has strong associations with Scotland, which lies, after all, just over there, 25 miles or so away. In fact, the natives hereabouts say that if you can see Scotland, it's going to rain, and if you can't see it, it's because it's raining already. The area of coast from Portstewart to Ballycastle is known as the Causeway Coast nowadays, with the focal point of the Giant's Causeway. Right along the coast there's a narrow path following every little inlet, every cliff, and traversing many of the long golden strands for which the area is renowned. And there's plenty of opportunity for observing the colonies of seabirds and the wildflowers which abound here. Up here too are the scant remains of Dunseverick Castle, one of the longest surviving castles in Ireland, dating from early Celtic times when Severick ruled the north and his brother the south. In the 5th century, St. Patrick is supposed to have visited here, and then he travelled on his missionary way south back to Portstewart, so we should follow him now for the next hymn, All Creatures of Our God and King.
Praise
Storey Pollock is a fisherman, one of the last to maintain boats in Portstewart harbour.
There is an old saying which states that on the night when one wants to go salmon fishing, then one should be going to bed, indicating that the sea's pretty rough. Remember on one occasion when we were fishing quite near to the bar mouth, it was quite a bad night and the wind was northwest. We had the net out and it takes quite a little bit of time to get the net back in again, so of course we wanted to wait and see if we'd get a few more fish. So we waited, and unfortunately we waited a little bit too long, and the wind became northerly and increased from fresh to strong to gale, and we still didn't have the net in. It was really, by that time, very, very rough. So we began to get the net in, but one of the crew, he became seasick, and we had to manage just to manhandle the net in without the engine at all. We eventually got it in, and then we started to head the boat for home. The sea was coming into the boat. I was pumping. The other member of the crew who'd recovered, he began to get the water out with a bucket. The waves were, by this stage, really mountainously high. And as we were going along, very, very cautiously, one of these people who was there just spontaneously cried out, "Oh my God, is this boat going to get back to the harbour?" And this is the type of experience that one cannot really explain when talking to you. I have a friend who fished with us for many years. He used to say that if there was anything which would turn anybody towards Christianity, it was fishing for salmon in bad weather. Christianity is like the sea in the sense that it is of great depth. It is something to hold on to in life. Sometimes I think that the sea and Christianity have quite a lot in common, in that one doesn't really know what the next wave is going to bring.
Storey, is there a hymn which for you combines your fascination with the sea and your faith?
Yes, I think there are several, Margaret, but the one which I think would be favoured of all is "Eternal Father, Strong to Save."
Portstewart Strand is where one man is valiantly trying to overcome his handicap. He's James Doherty, who was blinded in a terrorist incident.
There was periods during my first few months of blindness that the person involved with the shooting used to sit chatting to me in a bar in the local town here. At that time, I had no suspicion of him because I was so friendly with him. He would often ask me about the actual incident, and my own answer was him, like, God forgive them. He would often walk out without saying any more. Well, it never struck me then that 2 years later he would be the person to be taken for it. He'll be out someday, and how he'll face me and how he'll face him, I don't know. I don't know if he'll speak, or I won't see him because he's left me this way, you know. Well, I would like to even go and visit him in a prison at the minute and have a chat with him. I'd like to actually know the motive for it. Before I lost my sight, I tried many different jobs, not religion. Football always get in the way. So I gave the whole lot up for football, and then football gave me up, so I lost everything. And trying to get through depression, bad moods, and I suppose a touch of bad drinking. I found there was more to life. I turned my eyes, I suppose, towards God and started living again. And ever since I did that, everything has opened out, started blossoming for me. And I've never turned my back on it.
John Butcher works in a local food processing company. In his spare time, he entertains old people.
I was invited down to play for the senior citizens, you know, down there at Melbourne. And it was there I met Peter, you know, the blind man that's singing there. I started off playing on the accordion myself, but then I met Peter, he started to sing along with me, and then Vera, wee girl on the piano accordion there, she got interested in the accordion, so I teached her, you know, I taught her to play. So then Loretta joined with the tambourine, and we got the drums and all set up.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time.
John, doing this sort of thing for old people obviously gives you a great deal of satisfaction.
Yes, of course it does. You see, when we entertain them, this it seems to make them happy, and then it gives us satisfaction too. Do you think that we made somebody happy, you know?
Have you something special in the way of a hymn?
Yes, my favourite hymn is Nearer My God to Thee. I've been singing that all my life, and I like that very much.
Carol Anderson is a remedial teacher who lives at home on her father's farm.
The school in which I worked was a mission school in Papua New Guinea. I wasn't entirely happy there because of the religious atmosphere in the school. I felt it was rather superficial, and I felt sometimes in a way that the missionary organisations didn't do enough to help the people to understand the full implications of being a Christian, that they concentrated too much on just conversion and no sort of follow-up, no maturing as Christians. They didn't stress that being a Christian means a change in attitude, a change in behaviour, a change in outlook. So I think that could be very much applied to our Northern Ireland situation here, where religion is something that doesn't really make an awful lot of difference to your life. Well, here in Ireland, of course, it's just Protestant and Catholic, very often, not always. I do think that I have a part to play as a Christian in the community in trying to bring back some of the caring aspect and concern without the sort of cold efficiency that we often find in our modern world. The hymn I've chosen is Dear Lord and Father of Mankind, really the sheer beauty of the words, the sort of poetry of that hymn appeals to me very much. This hymn reminded me or made me realize that God is the center of all things good.
Rita Kane had an unhappy first marriage. Now a grandmother, she's married again and works in the local distillery.
It was difficult at first, but as the years went along, I worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and our children and I were able to manage. And they were very good children. They never gave me any trouble and helped quite a lot. We moved across from Ballycastle to Bushmills because of my husband's work at the distillery, and he had to be handy. And I must say the people in Bushmills have been very, very good and kind to me, very friendly. I'm not as good a churchgoer now as I have been in the past, but of course, I think everyone has always the church or God in their thoughts at some time. Mostly, all the time, really. In actual fact, there's too much talk about religion, because I think within a person within themselves, I think if you keep yourself a clear conscience and that is your own personal religion, for different types of churches and things like that, there's far too much of that today. It's really within the person themselves, what way they live their own life. My hymn is Be Thou My Vision. I think it's a beautiful hymn. And really, the words is asking God to be all to you, and He really is. And everybody's got to have a vision in life.
Sing
Father Hugh Murphy is one of the most familiar figures in the Roman Catholic Church in Northern Ireland.
This is Trinity Sunday, the feast of the Most Holy Trinity. Today we celebrate the Christian belief that there is but one God, but there are three persons in God, in a way that we can never understand: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Then our ideas of God are also mixed up. That picture of the old man with a beard, like some of the Victorian heroes, still persists. Or we look on God as a condiment on the plate, as having nothing to do with the business of living. How wrong this all is. So let us pray. O God, the Father of us all, we rejoice in the beauty of the world that you have given us. We thank you for bringing us together this evening, for uniting us in these hymns we love. Teach us from now on to emphasize the things that unite us rather than the things that keep us apart. Help us to be big-hearted and generous, to be tolerant and understanding, to sympathize rather than condemn. Your gospel is good news. May its message renew our lives and our world, and may goodness and forgiveness flourish everywhere. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.